1985 white Lamborghini Countach, two of them. I need a slow motion video right now, cause I'm moving in slow motion, feeling like Hype Williams shooting a nigga, Putin.
Buy this car to drive to work to pay for this car. Buy this car to drive to work to work.
Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I am Jordan, and today, Bernie continues to show his cowardice. It's embarrassing. But first, do not forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. Thank you. All right, this is my little warm-up video before we get to Fuentes and Alex Jones. Hopefully my computer does not shit the bed while that's happening. But for now, we're living, so let's do it. Here we have Bernie Sanders. You know, I mean, I made a video saying this before where I said the reason why Bernie doesn't call it a genocide, what's happening in Gaza, the reason he doesn't do that is for legal reasons. Now, I thought he was doing that strictly for the Biden administration, like when he was being pressed about not calling it a genocide, right? I was assuming that was because of Biden's administration, and if he calls it a genocide, then he's deeming it a crime. It's like, oh, a war crime is happening. And thus, when you have the Biden administration funding, aiding, and let's be real, co-conspirators in this blatant genocide, Holocaust-like scenario, that looks bad for the Democrats if one of their most popular names is calling them, they're saying they're complicit with a blatant crime, which they were, right? They blatantly were. And I was like, okay, that's the level of Bernie's cowardice. But when Trump gets in office, Bernie will, turn it around, right? He'll be like, oh, yo, yeah, it totally is a genocide, okay? Because we have the worst president of all time in office, so it's a genocide now. But I guess I was wrong.
Are you at the point yet where you would call what's happening in Gaza a genocide?
You can use whatever word you want.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying that she's
Well,
the first Republican to go there.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Look,
Sorry. I'm going to back up because the audio is dog shit. Here we go.
Are you at the point yet where you would call what's happening in Gaza a genocide?
You can use whatever word you want.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying that she's the
That's
first
good for
Republican
Marjorie
to go there.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Look,
why are you pussy, Bernie? All right, go ahead. Answer the question.
Genocide is a legal term. What is going on now clearly is absolutely horrific. 60,000 people dead and 140,000 who have been wounded. But the important point is not what you call it. It is horror. And I think the whole world knows that.
So, someone correct me, but didn't he just like he's saying like, oh, well, genocide is like a legal term. And then he goes on to say like, well, it doesn't matter what you call it. Apparently it does matter if you call it a genocide or not. You just defined it as mattering on legal grounds, right? And you're a, person that's associated with quote unquote law and order, right? You're a fucking senator. So that's one. Two, isn't it a crime happening over there, Bernie? Isn't that a crime? What? I don't know what he's seeing that. I'm not, he's calling it horrifying, but if I say genocide, it makes it a crime. Like, because it is a crime. What the fuck? What the fuck? I think maybe you can smell where AOC gets her shit from, where she's voting for Iron Dome. Like, no, we need to protect the Israeli people, But, we don't like the government, though. We don't like Netanyahu. So thus, I will vote for, the Iron Dome, even though the reasons for that happening, for why they're using their Iron Dome, is because they're subjugating, massacring, harming other people. or attacking first and getting shot back at, right? That is what I've seen from the Iron Dome, of like its actual purpose. We can fuck people up, and we can stop them from fucking us up. But anyways, like right here in the caption, Bernie Sanders on Gaza, children are starving to death. Now, is that an accident, Bernie? I want him to get on the stand, like under oath, and say, yo, that's by accident. They're accidentally starving people. I want him to say that. Fuck my life, dude. This guy's so weak, bro. Like, what are you doing here? Like fucking quit. Or you're old, man. Get the fuck out. Leave. Leave already. And by the way, Kyle better fucking cover this. Kyle Kalinske, Secular Talk, whatever the fuck his name is, Nipple Boy, Nipple Ring Boy. He better cover this. Anyways, here we go.
1,000 people dead and 140,000 who have been wounded. But the important point is
those are low numbers.
Is horror, and I think the whole world knows that. The answer is, what the hell do we do about it? Should the United States taxpayer, should your taxpayer dollars go to support a government that is doing it? That is the most important issue. So immediately, you got to get.
No, it's not whether or not we like. That's not the most. The most important thing is they are shitting on other human beings in mass that are not quote unquote enemy combatants. That's the problem, right? Not that we're giving money to it. Like that. Yeah, that's part of it. But like the direct thing is like obviously the fucking problem, Bernie. God, this guy's fucking he's trash, man. He's fucking horrendous. 60,000 dead, 140,000 injured. And there's no crime happening, Bernie? We don't want to use crime words for that? Let's say it wasn't a government, just some individual and his team of bandits did that to something. Like, would you call that a crime, Bernie? He doesn't realize that, like, the precedent he's actually setting with all of this. Like, guess what? The people occupying that government that isn't standing against what Netanyahu's doing, you are criminals. Straight up. You're doing criminal actions on a mass scale and throwing the stone and hiding your fucking hand and saying, like, no, whoa, no, we're getting aid in there. We're giving them aid. Come on. It's Hamas's fault, as you're going to see later. It's all Hamas's fault, which is just, once again, insulting my and all of our intelligences. Is that a word? Intelligences? Whatever. God, what a trash can. It's like, fuck. You should have quit a long time ago, Bernie. You should quit right now, actually. You want to do the moral thing? Give your money away and leave your fucking job. Start in kindergarten again, you dummy. Anyways, here we go.
Is what the hell do we do about
disappointing,
it?
Man.
Should the United States
underwhelming.
Should your taxpayer dollars go to support a government that is doing it? That is the most important issue. So immediately, you got to get ceasefire. You got to get humanitarian aid in.
Okay. So, Israel consistently breaks ceasefires, right? Consistently. We're doing it with Lebanon now, but, you know, they were in a ceasefire, right, when Trump came in, and then they broke it blatantly and openly. So what the fuck does a ceasefire actually mean? What does that mean now? Nothing. How about humanitarian aid? What did Trump say? We sent $60 million over there. And then we have people, whistleblowers, coming back and telling us, like, nah, it ain't working like that. These people are being shot at, trying to get food. Unarmed people trying to get food are being shot at and killed in large numbers. So that ain't working either. Fuck. Like, I understand the ideas of ceasefire and get humanitarian aid in there. I understand those ideas. But the way they're doing it has been faulty and bullshit and just contributing to massacring of other people. And if Bernie can't point that out, then his words are empty when he says ceasefire. It means nothing. If people agree on a ceasefire and someone breaks it while committing a crime, but Bernie can't call the crime, then you're just advocating for the same shit we've been getting the whole time, Bernie. You dumbass. Fuck. Get this fucking guy out of here. Along with a lot of other people, by the way. There's a lot of them there. It's just people have a little bit more sympathy for Bernie Sanders. When maybe they shouldn't, to be honest with you. Maybe the clock has passed now. Like, okay, he's not the guy. Got it. Get the fuck out. All right, here we go. Once again, Kyle, where's your video at? You better have one on this one. Here we go.
But the United States cannot continue to aid and abet the Netanyahu government doing what it's doing.
Do you want to see United States personnel on the ground?
Once again, he says the Netanyahu government, but guess what? Israel's been fucking subjugating Palestinians for a long fucking time. For a long time. Before October 7th. Well, Netanyahu's still in power at that point, but there's been plenty of fuckery happening over there. In the U.S. backing it for a long time, Bernie. Don't worry, I've heard his quotes from when he's doing like town halls in Vermont from decades ago. Don't worry, I've seen the video clips. I don't want people to think I'm ignorant of that. I'm not ignorant of that. By the way, he's not being critical of Israel. I'm saying like he's, once again, overly in favor of them in those past videos. So, no, this is not a surprise to me. It's that motherfuckers fall for this shit. This weak fucking man. This shaky-kneed, old, weak fucking man. No offense to older people. It's just, I have to insult them somehow. Forgive me. And you were, by the way, you were strong old people. This guy's a weak little fool. Weak little old man, bro. That's who this fucking guy is. Useless. Useless. And then Kyle will make a video. He's going to get us Meals on Wheels. Yeah, don't worry about it. Well, there's just, massacring of people over there, so. Thank God you got your Meals on Wheels, right, Kyle? Fucking dummies, bro. Anyways, here we go.
You got to get humanitarian aid in, but the United States cannot continue to aid and abet the Netanyahu government doing what it's doing.
Do you want to see United States personnel on the ground helping distribute aid? I mean, what is
it's already happening.
The United Nations has done, under very difficult circumstances, a good job until they were kicked out by Netanyahu. So I would like
the
to bring
U.S.
them back, and I think they're prepared to come back.
By Netanyahu, by the government of Israel. I keep saying Netanyahu, but like there's a bunch of people that are in favor of what's happening over there, and there's a bunch of people in this country that are in favor of what's happening over there. So, yeah, it's not just Netanyahu, which he keeps doing, which is just weird. Like, oh, if you get rid of Netanyahu, all of a sudden everything's fixed. Like, no. What? There's some bloodthirsty motherfuckers over there. Not everyone. But there's enough in positions of governmental power that do harmful shit to other people, blatantly. And Bernie should know. He just look to his left and look to his right when he's at work. But yeah, there's a lot of them here too. That are either apathetic or bloodthirsty. As we're going to say. God, what a weak fucking man. So fucking weak. God. He'd probably call Trump a criminal, but like Biden doing the same exact action, he'd be like, oh, well, he made a mistake. He's a good friend of mine. What a weak fucking man, bro. Dude's got a micro cock, bro. 100%. Anyway, let's hear someone, at least on the surface, seem to have a little bit more courage than this weak old man right here. Here's this guy I didn't hear of until today, kind of telling his story to where he left when he I guess got discharged or whatever, or finished his duty. I guess he's like, all right, I'm done with this shit. Fuck all you motherfuckers, bro. You guys are committing crimes. Here we go.
My name is Hanny Nofall. I was a submarine officer for over 10 years, and I resigned in November 2023 during the Biden administration when I recognized very early on that this was in fact a genocide, and the United States government was fully and unequivocally backing that genocide.
Yo, Bernie, it took him a month. He's like, yo, this ain't right. And he fucking quit. Where's this guy's balls at? Where are they at? I don't see him, bro.
I'm only coming out now because I had to wait until the expiration of my active duty service to be able to speak out. But I'm coming out now to say that...
Okay, so I confused that. I'm sorry. It wasn't him. Like, he resigned, but he had to finish out. I guess there's like a time period where he had to like be officially out. So forgive me, but he corrected me. Here you go.
Genocide. I'm only coming out now because I had to wait until the expiration of my active duty service to be able to speak out. But I'm coming out now to say that I do not support what the U.S. government has been promoting in Gaza for the last 22 months. 250 years ago, at the dawn of this nation, George Washington gave us a warning. In his farewell address, he cautioned us against the insidious wiles of foreign influence.
I don't know if he owned slaves or not.
And pleaded with future generations to preserve the independence of our political institutions from entangling alliances and passionate attachments abroad. He did this, not do this out of isolationism or fear, but out of the deep understanding that the strength of the Republic lies not in its might, but in its moral clarity. Not in who it can dominate, but in who it can resist. I speak to you today as someone who wore the uniform of this country for over a decade, who stood the watch aboard a nuclear submarine as an officer, entrusted with one of the most powerful arsenals on Earth. I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I took the oath seriously, but I have come to understand that threats to our republic do not always arrive in the form of armies or missiles. Sometimes they arrive as ideologies, quiet, corrosive, and clothed in the language of friendship. And today, the greatest test of our national integrity is not in the South China Sea or the Persian Gulf. It is Gaza. What is unfolding in Gaza is not a conflict. It is not a war between equals. It is a calculated starvation, bombing, and displacement of a captive civilian population executed by the Israeli government and made possible by the full backing of the United States. Let us be honest, without the billions in military aid to end the uninterrupted flow of weapons, the diplomatic shielding at the United Nations, and the bipartisan silence in Congress, this would not be possible. Every party, Republican and Democrat alike, has put loyalty to a foreign government above the lives of Palestinian children, above the conscience of the American people, and above the very values we claim to stand for. I know what these values are supposed to mean. I believed in them enough to lead sailors into harm's way. But how can we speak of liberty when we fund occupation? How can we claim to uphold human rights while enabling war crimes? How can we call ourselves a democracy while criminalizing dissent and silencing anyone who questions our...
Oh, cut him off, bro? I was locked in. What the fuck? All right, but the point is, once again, I don't know this guy personally, like, and I'm going to assume that this is correct, that he is, like, officially was, you know, in the Navy and all that shit and nuclear submarines, and he resigned and then had to wait a certain period of time to be considered out of active duty to say something. Fine. The point is, if all that's true, he just has 10 times the courage as this fuckface. Like, fuck. And by the way, if Bernie heard that speech, was like, oh, well, yeah, he's talking about them over there. Like, no, man. I think you're a part of that. I think you actually are. I understand. You can say defund Netanyahu all you want. All right? I think that's actually his idea of it. Like, let's sanction Netanyahu personally. And, okay. Granted, he knows it's not going to go through, right? He knows that. So, why aren't you using your position of power and your popularity to showcase everything? Showcase it all. But maybe he's worried about that crossing over to the Democratic Party, which he seems to be in alliance with, who works against them night and day. Like, at least his stated policies, they work against that night and day. And this guy just bends the knee to them. It's incredible. But let's keep it moving, just to showcase that what Bernie's efforts, what he thinks he's doing as an effort, is kind of useless. All right? It's kind of useless in the way he's going about it, because the other people are working 10 times harder. And I'm sorry, they are, to cause harm in the world. They're working harder than you are, which means you're kind of fucking useless. But let's keep it moving here. Here's let me make sure my volume's okay. Here's one of Bernie's neighbors, right? I say this about YouTubers, where like a Jimmy Dore, right? Where he's like, "Oh, we need Medicare for all and force the vote," and the corrupt government, right? He screams those things. At the same time, Tim Pool, with a bigger following, is just it's contradicting it. It's shitting on it. I just stole that word from right here. Contradicts. See that? From Jimmy Dore, ironically. See that? But sorry, psychology. Let's pay attention. Yeah, right in Jimmy's neighborhood, someone is contradicting him with a bigger following. And when Jimmy has a Tim Pool on a show or features him, it's all glowing reviews. It's glowing, and it's a nice little pillow of an interview with Tim Pool. And Tim Pool uses your new audience, the audience that you're kind of giving to him, to subvert them in a different direction than where the fuck you were going. And now he has a bunch of Trump supporters as his audience. Maybe that was on purpose, too. Just saying. But it's like, yo, they're in your neighborhood. So Bernie Sanders, this Randy Fine guy who says some of the overtly disgusting things I think we've ever heard from a politician in America, at least, right? That just overtly says these things about children starving, about families being blown up, just overt scummy shit he says, right in your fucking neighborhood, Bernie. And you let him prance around like this. And I understand this guy is maybe not a senator, right? But he's in the House or whatever. It's like, you didn't hear about this, Bernie? How did I hear about this? This is not my job. This is not what I do all day and night, right? So, what's your excuse, Bernie? We're not trying to get to know every little single one of these motherfuckers and be like, yo, you legit or not? You full of shit? What's up? Because he's a weak, out-of-shape old man. He doesn't have the stamina nor the gumption to do this shit. That's what it seems like. And once again, I'm sure plenty of people have given him so much time to figure things out, to have the courage to say things out loud. But he's still not there. And it's like, how old are you now, bro? You're approaching like 90 years old or some shit like that? And you're still here? Come on, man. You're fucking terrible. Weak. Anyways, hopefully the volume doesn't fuck your ears up, but here's Randy Fine. Randy Fuckface Fine. Little dweebo, stuffed in lockers his whole life. Dweebo, Randy Fine. Here we go.
We nuked the Japanese twice in order to get unconditional surrender. That needs to be the same here. There is something deeply, deeply wrong with this culture, and it needs to be defeated.
We heard in Brooks.
We nuked the Japanese.
I'm gonna let that play again, just in case, because of the volume. Here we go.
We nuked the Japanese twice in order to get unconditional surrender. That needs to be the same here. There is something deeply, deeply wrong with this culture, and it needs to be defeated.
We heard in Brooks.
We nuked the Japanese.
So, as you can hear there, nothing needed to be said, right? This guy's stomping around Bernie's neighborhood. He's stomping around. This little fake bully is stomping around your neighborhood, Bernie. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to go in the house, close the shutters. That's what I'm going to do. I'll write an email about it to the neighborhood watch. Like, you are the fucking watch, you idiot. fuck. Sorry for getting so pissed off and tilted and the ad hominems, whatever the fuck people want to say, but it is what it is, bro. This is how I talk. Forgive me. Let's keep it moving. Here's Trump. Like, once again, these people they're all walking around Bernie's neighborhood. Just stomping around. Oh, can you please stop allowing, Israel to massacre people? Can you please stop that? Please? Pretty please? Trump's like, no, bitch. Shut the fuck up, Bernie. Who's talking to Bernie? Who the fuck are you again? Get out of my face. And then keeps it moving. Once again, watch your ears. This might be loud.
Is there any use at all?
Yeah, that's way too loud. Okay, that's blowing my ears out. Turn that down a bit. Twitter clips are just random. Like, you never know if it's going to be overly loud or quiet. Here you go.
Pressuring Israel now to come to some sort of longer-term solution.
Well, you could make the case that you're rewarding people, that, you're rewarding Hamas if you do that. And I don't think they should be rewarded. So I'm not in that camp, to be honest. We'll let you know where we are, but I am not in that camp.
Mr. President,
because if you do that, you really are rewarding Hamas. And I'm not about to do that.
Is there any use?
So, as you're going to see, this is a repeated talking point now of, well, what about a two-state solution? Right? To where, like, you can end the war officially by, like, and by the way, at the very least, scientifically, like, by measurement and observation of things, Hamas has been willing to stay to the ceasefires, and we don't know if they would break it or not because Israel beats them to the punch. Straight up. Like, that's what happens. At least in the most recent ceasefire, right? Israel breaks the ceasefire. They cut off water. They shoot people. They try to starve people. And then sooner or later, they just start bombing. And it's like, okay, I guess the ceasefire's over. Granted, they were, like, once again, harming people in the midst of the ceasefire itself. And, of course, this guy comes out, and his job is to, what? Blame Hamas for everything, just like Netanyahu's job is to do the same thing. Because the goal is to exterminate these fucking people. It really is. And not necessarily all the way in the sense of killing everyone, but in the sense of, like, there is no such thing as Palestinian anymore. They'll be known like the Kurds almost, but with no military power. No backing from the U.S. They want them out of the fucking region. Straight up. And Bernie just can't see a crime happening somehow. Bernie's like, well, genocide's a criminal. That's a criminal term. Okay? That's a term in criminology. Okay? Like, well, they're openly saying, yeah, we're going to commit a crime here. And they're lying about the reasons for it. Fuck. That would be rewarding Hamas if you gave them a two-state solution. Like, what are we talking about? I thought your point was, isn't the point of the Trump administration and the Netanyahu administration, isn't there statements out loud supposed to be something like, oh, well, we're here to save the Palestinian people from Hamas. Like, they're such a big problem. They're stealing aid from them. They're killing them. They brought all these problems upon the Palestinian people. That's their narrative. So what makes you think a two-state solution means give it to Hamas? What the fuck who said that? In fact, the statements from Hamas is, yo, if you give Palestine a state, like, and not like somewhere in India or England or some other shit, right? Like an actual state within the region that they grew up in, in Gaza, in the West Bank. If you actually gave them a state there, they said they would disband. So, yo, we're done. We'll give up our weapons and we'll quietly fade away. Now, they could be lying, but guess what? We never get to find out if they're lying or not. You want to know why? Because Israel breaks the ceasefire before that happens, and the U.S. backs it and says, good job, Israel. Finish the fucking job. To continue on with the, it's Hamas's fault for every little thing happening. Here's Tammy Bruce, right? That's her name? I think that's her name. Here is another devil worshiper to tell us why you can't go for a two-state solution. Here we go.
Could you explain why talking about Palestinian statehood or Palestinian future in Gaza rewards Hamas or is a slap in the face to the victims of October 7th? And I'm asking, given that none of the parties involved, to my knowledge, who are involved in these discussions or have plans to recognize statehood have said anything about wanting Hamas to be in power. It seems like, according to the United States,
not even Hamas,
Israel, and obviously as well as all these other folks involved in these conversations now at the UN, in power or involved, to my knowledge, who are involved in these discussions or have speech. Could you explain why talking about Palestinian statehood or Palestinian future in Gaza rewards Hamas or is a slap in the face to the victims of October 7th? And I'm asking, given that none of the parties involved, to my knowledge, who are involved in these discussions or have plans to recognize statehood have said anything about wanting Hamas to be in power. It seems like, according to the United States, according to Israel, and obviously as well as all these other folks involved in these conversations now at the UN, no one has expressed a desire to have Hamas in power. So how is that? How does it reward?
Well, I think that.
Also, I would just want to say, if she's single, I'm single too. We can make this work. Whoever that journalist lady is, I'm in, bro. Sign me up.
Sorry, Hamas in power. So how is that? How does it reward?
Well, I think that it's very often, not most often, actions speak louder than words. And our argument is that there are certain actions you can take that reward in the midst of the defense of a country after a horrific atrocity implemented on October 7th. And the end result is, create a two-state solution, solve this problem, when in fact the problem was mass murder and just an indescribably obscene environment. And then the continuation.
Yeah, get loud. Why don't you get loud? We believe you, of course. But, what sets the ground for an October 7th? Once again, whatever those guys, whatever they did, or what they did, yeah, scummy, criminal actions. Just be honest and call out all criminal actions. Call them all out. This is how you end up with people saying, well, Hamas is justified with what they did on October 7th, right? Because of the prior crimes that were happening there, right? Already happening there. That I think a lot of us already fucking knew about, right? And then they just went full, it's almost like they were waiting for that to happen. Just antagonizing, and teasing and poking and prodding. Waiting for that one day when they're like, fuck it, we had enough, we're going to plan an attack, and we're going to go fucking do it. They do it, they're like, Netanyahu's like, yes! That's all we needed. That's our ammo right there. Now we use this situation as a way to destroy get them all the fuck out of here. Clear as day. I mean, there's no, my logic can't think of another scenario based on the actions that have been taken since that date. I can't see any other scenario other than them just okay, this is the excuse we needed to run them over and then expel them, or just kill them if they want to stick around. Either way works, because as far as these government bodies are considered, no one cares about them, honestly. So it actually reflects the U.S. with 9/11. There's our excuse to just take over the Middle East, just bomb everything we can, expand from country to country. We can bomb willy-nilly anywhere we want to because of 9/11. If you're an American citizen, we can bomb you now because of 9/11. We can spy on you now because of 9/11. Clear as day, the most blatant, obvious crime of all time. Fuck courtrooms. Fuck official documents, Michael Tracy. Look, use your fucking eyes and ears and look at the fucking scenario. Use those few brain cells you fucking have and look at the scenario. People do this all the time in the fucking streets. Excuses to fuck up their enemies. Any excuse they can get. Yeah, that's not relegated to just governments moving around. But if it was a street gang doing that, I'm sure dumb fuck Michael Tracy would be like, well, look at it. Well, clearly he was doing this for the sake of taking out his adversaries. Fuck. Man, I wonder if gangs or mafias or all this shit, I wonder if they would kill their own people and say, like, yo, look, it was those guys over there. Our rivals did this to our favorite fucking, team member. And then use that as an excuse to go take them the fuck out. Now my team's motivated to go take those guys out and fuck them up. I'm not even leaping that far into conspiracy, right? It's an idea that's worthy of thought, not to be dismissed by court filings, as Michael Tracy likes to do, or any of these fucking dumb fucks like to do. Or dumb fuck like this. Well, genocide is a criminal term. Yeah, because there's a fucking crime happening, you idiot. How do these people make it this far, bro? How did they get here? How do we allow this? Like, I'm actually puzzled. How do we allow this to happen? Whatever. All right, here we go. Here's more propaganda bullshit. Here you go.
Of the terrorist, indescribably murder, and just an
embarrassing,
indescribably obscene environment, and then the continuation of the terrorism of the people of Gaza, the first victims of Hamas.
Oh, really?
Still, it just the nature of living in that environment, the hostages that remain held, the weapons that remain held. And a refusal. We had a ceasefire early on. We had a ceasefire on October 7th. We had a ceasefire early on. They broke that. And there is a point where you don't find ways to placate or reward the people that have done such horrible things to humanity. The actions of what is being suggested, and I think we've made clear here, do just that.
I asked someone this recently. I think it was Jesse I asked, or it's like, yo, like, what? How do you describe this? I mean, I say devil worshipping. It's like, there's no wonder people come up with conspiracy theories or whatever the fuck about any of these topics. It's no fucking wonder. Like, we see what's happening, and she's telling us, like, no, it's them over there. It's their fault. Like, how do you sleep at night? Type of shit. Granted, I can contemplate the psyche that moves like this, or like Trump does, or any of these Netanyahu, any of these fucking politician people move. That I can understand. How do people fall for this shit? How? That's the fucking mystery, apparently. I mean, I can understand that too, but it's just like, how? What are? Fuck. Fuck my life, dude. They're massacring people, dude. Like, actually massacring people. Now they're doing this starvation campaign thing. In your lifetime. While you're walking the earth. Not in a history book. Not from 100 years ago. Or 1,000 years ago. Right now, in your lifetime, the crazy phenomenon of an event that's spanning years. It's happening. Right now. In your lifetime. Fuck. I don't know how else to, like, drive it home. To, like, make it, I guess, selfish and narcissistic. Like, yo. Where were you at when the Holocaust happened type of shit. But, whatever. There we go.
And it is, I think everyone deserves better. Certainly first the Gazan people, but certainly the world itself.
Okay, drop site. Oh, okay, that has nothing to do with that. So, cycling back here. Here's, dumb fuck Bernie. I'll give it full screen so I have a thumbnail. Look at that. Milk carton. Looking for coward. Bernie's fucking face is right on it. Yeah, that's it. There's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment, agree, disagree. Tell me what you think. Is there any Bernie supporters left that watch my videos? I'm sure a lot of them hear me start talking shit about, like, if I had to guess, there'd be people that are Bernie supporters, and then they hear me start talking shit about them, and they instantly click off the video and run away because they can't handle it psychologically. Right? Just like he can't. But, you know what? If you are, like, please tell me in the comment section about lesser evils and all that bullshit. Please do not forget to share, support, hopefully donate to the links that you see in the description box. Look at the stories, please read them, share them, and then hopefully donate. All of it is very much appreciated. And with all that said, please give this video a thumbs down.